Okay. So, this is just a total mind fuck. And so that's what's gonna happen. This is a total mind fuck, man. So here we go. Without further ado, let's just get right into it here. So, I'm talking about the Ouija board, okay? We're gonna go back to the Ouija board. As an example of this is a phenomenon here, the Ouija board. I told you that me and my brother messed with that Ouija board, and I just got confirmation. My brother says that he was not moving that fucking thing. Okay, so let's see what does the AI browser have to say about why is that Ouija board thing moving. Okay, let's look at it again. So let's see, what have we got here? So the question is there proof that Ouija board pointers move on their own to answer questions? Let's see what AI says. Okay. Ouija board pointer movement explained. Based on the search results provided, there is no conclusive evidence to suggest that Ouija board pointers move on their own to answer questions without any human influence. Instead, the scientific consensus is that the movement of the planchette is attributed to the ideomotor effect, a phenomenon where people unconsciously move their muscles in response to subtle cues or expectations. Several studies, including one conducted by the University of British Columbia in 2012, have demonstrated that participants' movements of the planchette are influenced by their own subconscious thoughts and biases, rather than any external supernatural force. In these studies, participants were often unaware of their own movements, and their answers were more accurate when they believed they were not in control of the planchette. The ideomotor effect is a well-documented phenomenon in psychology, and it has been observed in various contexts, including dowsing, pendulum swinging, and other forms of divination. It is thought to occur when people's brains process information and generate motor responses without conscious awareness or intention. While some individuals may claim to have experienced Ouija board movements that defy explanation, these claims are anecdotal and lack empirical support. The scientific consensus is that the Ouija board's movements can be attributed to human psychology and physiology rather than any supernatural or paranormal forces. In summary, there is no conclusive proof that Ouija board pointers move on their own to answer questions. Instead, the scientific evidence suggests that the movements are the result of human unconscious cognition and the ideomotor effect. Okay? So, if that's the case, let's go into this. Let's just kind of play this tape out. And I'm not saying that science is wrong. I'm saying I don't know. Okay? This could be true. What I'm saying is, if this is true, that's how the planchette or whatever they call it on the Ouija board moves, is by some people's subconscious thoughts coupled with the slight muscle movements in their hands, and they're subconsciously moving it and not knowing it, to the point where it actually looks, feels, and everything as though that fucking thing is moving on its own. Like me and my brother experienced, we believed it to be true. If that's what's going on, well, what other kinds of things is our subconscious and our muscles affecting in our reality that we're unaware of? if you know, like it references studies where they did studies where they observed people using the Ouija board, and the people using the Ouija board really believed that the Ouija board was doing that, and they were unaware that it was their subconscious coupled with the slight muscle movements in their hands that were making it move to answer questions and shit on the Ouija board. So they didn't know. It looks and feels real. The Ouija board looks like totally real, to the point where me and my brother were freaking out, like we were fucking scared, dude. And we got rid of that fucking thing because mine and my brother's experience was that it was working. It was doing it on its own. We weren't doing that. And so, if it's true what science says, that that's the scientific explanation, which I'm not saying one way or another, I'm just rolling the tape out on here. If it's possible that that could be the explanation to the Ouija phenomena, is it's just our subconscious mixed with our muscles, slight muscle movements, what other kinds of phenomena could our subconscious coupled with our physical bodies and muscles be doing that we're unaware of? What other kind of phenomena could we be that we see it as some kind of unexplainable phenomena, something going on around us, when really it's just a collective of a bunch of people's subconscious and their slight muscle movements that are actually making something happen, unaware that it's actually us and our subconscious and our muscles that are all making this thing like a global genocide, where it appears as though there's a global genocide and it's a big conspiracy, when really it's all in our subconscious mixed with our muscles and our like causing, you know, action and reaction, etc., to create the same phenomena of the planchette on the Ouija board. You know, maybe there isn't a global genocide. Maybe it's all happening just like the planchette on the Ouija board is moving, because of our subconscious mixed with our muscle, our physical impact in the reality is causing this movement that appears to be a genocide, when really it's just a combination of things that can be explained through science, that it's not a genocide. It's just, yes, some people are getting sick from the vaccines because the vaccines were man-made, therefore, flawed, and coupled with the accidental hysteria of a common cold, that maybe it was some kind of... We don't know there is a genocide, that there's a genocide taking place. Just like the people in the Ouija board that are moving don't know that they are moving that planchette. See? So it's like, are you going to trust science? Because that science says that Ouija boards can be explained through science, and that the reason that the planchettes appear to be autonomously moving, that what it is it's the participants of the Ouija board, the subconscious psychology of their mind, coupled with slight movements in the muscles of their fingers, that are moving the planchette, making it appear to the participants that the planchette is autonomously moving on its own and answering yes or no questions, and even more complex questions than yes or no. And that same type of phenomena could explain what we all see, or what so many people in the world see, as a global genocide. That it's not a global genocide. Yes, the planchette is moving, yes, but that's because of our subconscious and our muscles, our body and our muscles movement and impact on the fucking planchette and the board. Well, take that to a macrocosmic level. Yes, it appears that there is a genocide, just as it appears that Planchette is moving autonomously. But instead of it moving autonomously because of some spirit, or because, people are dying from these vaccines, isn't because it's some conspiracy and global genocide. It's just a combination of things involving the subconscious and the psychology of the mind, coupled with our people as a whole impact in the physical actions that they have and take and make. And it has caused this, just as participating in a Ouija board can cause the planchette to appear to move autonomously. This COVID flu stuff combined with the vaccines, combined with people's fucking yapping mouths and fucking overactive imaginations, can create this appearance that there's a global genocide, when really there's a more practical scientific explanation, similar to the practical scientific explanation for the Ouija board. Again, it's all up to what you want to believe when it comes down to it. So let's look at the next question I asked. The next question I asked is there proof that Ouija board pointers do not move on their own to answer questions? AI is going to answer this question for us. Ouija board pointer movement proof. Based on the search results provided, there is overwhelming evidence that Ouija board pointers do not move on their own to answer questions. The ideomotor effect is the scientific explanation for the movement of the planchette, which suggests that the participants' unconscious minds are responsible for the movements, not external forces or spirits, which could explain the so-called genocide. Is that there is overwhelming evidence that this whole thing with COVID and vaccine is not a genocide, and that what is causing the appearance of the genocide is the ideometer effect, scientifically explained for the appearance for the vaccine deaths and all the people being sick and the shedding. It's in what science suggests that the explanation of that is it's the participants' unconscious minds that are responsible for people's, the appearance of a genocide, not external forces or conspirator, the cabal and the Jews or whatever. It's the same fucking thing. You can believe what you want, The University of British Columbia study in 2012 mentioned in multiple search results demonstrated that participants who used a Ouija board with a blindfolded partner answered factually yes or no questions more accurately when they believed they were not in full control of the planchette. This suggests that the participants' subconscious minds were influencing the planchette's movement rather than any external entity. The experiment with the string and weight mentioned in several search results also illustrates the ideometer effect. When participants attempt to hold their arms still and imagine the weight moving in a circle, the weight began to move, demonstrating that the unconscious mind can influence physical movements without conscious awareness. Additionally, the Amazon review of the classic Ouija board provides a list of do's and don'ts that emphasize the importance of proper use and caution when operating the board. None of these warnings suggest that the planchette can move on its own or that external forces are at play. In conclusion, based on the available evidence, there is no proof that Ouija boards pointers move on their own to answer questions. The scientific consensus is that the ideometer effect explains the movement of the planchette, and it is a result of the participants' unconscious minds, not external entities or forces. So again, that's science is telling you that Ouija boards are not that yes, people can really experience that the Ouija board planchette is moving on its own. But the fact of the matter is, it's their subconscious and the muscles in their hands that are reacting to their subconscious that are literally moving that fucking thing, and they don't even know it. They really believe that it is moving on its own. And I know from experience because me and my brother did the Ouija board, and to this day, see, my brother probably hasn't even looked into this, that there's overwhelming scientific evidence or whatever, so called. So he doesn't even know that. He really thinks that fucker was moving on its own. Where, and I just discovered this because of my curiosity, asking the Brave search engine, what the fuck is up with these Ouija boards? So now it's offering up some scientific explanation, and it's claiming that there is overwhelming empirical evidence that the Ouija board phenomena is not spirits or anything like that. It is people's subconscious minds moving those things. Now, you could agree with that and say, yep, that's right. I knew it. I knew that Ouija boards aren't real. That's a bunch of, all them people are all a bunch of conspiracy theory, dumbass, fucking blah, blah, whatever. But then then you trust the science. That's the science is then you're on the side of science in that regard. So let me ask you, have you gotten did you trust the science on the booster shot too? You've gotten all your boosters, huh? So now you're going to cherry pick. So you're going to cherry pick. So when science says that Ouija boards that's not really spirits moving it, you're going to cherry pick because it fits your paradigm and say, see, I told you that Ouija board's all fake. You guys are all dumb believing that. Ha ha. But then that same science is the one telling you COVID is real and injections are safe and effective. And so you're cherry picking, and that's where you're saying, oh, that's conspiracy and it's the Jews are behind that, right? So you're cherry picking which science is true and which isn't. So when science tells you that there's there's XY chromosome and there's only, science says that, and you agree, right? Well, science also tells you that there's climate change, and you disagree that there is no, that's conspiracy by the Jews. So you just make it up as you go along. If you don't agree with something, that's just the conspiracy. The Jews are behind it. But if there's some science that agrees with your worldview, then you say, yep, that's right, science. I'm all about science. You have to show me facts before I'll believe anything. Yep, and there it is. There's the scientific facts right there. Boom. Well, the science says that the vaccines are safe and effective, and you need your boosters. And so let me ask you again: did you trusted the science on that one, huh? Because the science is right. So yeah, and then the genocide. So there's a global genocide, huh? Well, how do you know that that's not the ideometer, the ideometer effect that is explained with the Ouija board? The ideometer effect, that even though it appears that there's a genocide, the only reason for that appearance is because we are creating that reality with our subconscious, coupled with our reaction. So if I want it to be the Jews, that it's all a global genocide conspired by the Jews, well then my subconscious is going to want to create a genocide, and actually physically make it happen so that I can say, see, look, it's the Jews. It's a global genocide created by the Jews, just like the person who wants to believe Ouija board. See, Ouija board's real. Look at it move. We'll sit down and do it. Feel it moving? See? Yep, see, look, there's a genocide. Again, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Is there one? I don't know. And I'm not taking that fucking thing to find out, me personally. Is the Ouija board real? Hey, well, that's another thing. I'm not going to fuck around with the Ouija board to find out. I've seen enough. Same with, like, that's why I was talking about that, nasal swab up my nose. I ain't fucking around with that to find out. I've seen enough. I've seen enough connection of dots of how all that stuff is connected to demon possession of some kind. Whether you want to call it the Manchurian candidate effect, or demon possession, tomato fucking tomato. I've seen enough that there's a connection. There's a very potential connection to that and demon possession. And I'm not getting an injection. I'm not getting the nasal swab. I could be wrong. But to me, it's not worth finding out. It's the same with the Ouija board. I could be wrong. But it ain't worth fucking around with that thing to find out. Can a person get demon possessed fucking around with the Ouija board? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it worth fucking around to find out? Well, go ahead and fuck around and find out then, motherfucker. Have fun with all that. And that's what I'm saying. People that dabble, become self-proclaimed witches, they're fucking around with shit. Don't you see that? You start self-proclaiming yourself a witch and fucking around with all that shit and that black magic and satanic shit. Oh, and then now a dead body has showed up. I wonder what happened. Well, maybe it wasn't demon-possessed people that killed it, but maybe it was retarded people that just kept fucking around with some Ouija board shit and decided, we need to make a human sacrifice to Satan. Dude, this is what I'm saying. You see what a big mindfuck it is? Look at Ouija board. Look into Ouija board shit like I am. Oh, the science says, instead of Simon Says, it's Science Says. Science says that's not, Ouija board stuff isn't real. It's just an ideometer effect, where it's just your subconscious mind coupled with slight muscle movements in your hand that's making that planchette move. It's not, no, demon possession isn't real, no. Yeah, so go ahead and go start fucking around with Satanism then, if you don't think demon possession is real. Just go be a self-proclaimed Satanist. Just go, like my Psycho X, which is what is going on. Like, all these people, they're trusting the science, and demon possession isn't real. What did it say? When I looked up, is witchcraft real? It said, many people today proclaim themselves, are self-proclaimed witches. Like, they're like full-on witches. Hell yeah, I'm a witch. They're all into this shit. And they think it's smart, and they think it's clever, and they think it's innocent, and they think nothing bad will happen if I start fucking around with black magic and witchcraft and Satanism. No way. No, I couldn't possibly get demon possessed or end up finding myself in some weird fucking human sacrifice cult where they're performing human ritual sacrifices on people. No, that'll never happen to me. Yep, go ahead and fuck around and find out. I will go ahead and take a pass on that, and you can go and fuck around, and I'll just kick back and watch all these fools with the image go down in flames in the big game.